Hi, welcome back to another video in this learning C++ journey. So in this video, we are going to create a project by the title of Project Library Management. So far we have learned a lot of topics in our class lesson, and I wanted to make a project with the help of those topics, so in order to understand them and practice them very well. And this project will enhance your pre-existing topics and concepts as well, and it will give you the idea that how you can actually use your programming concepts in real life problems. Okay, so in this project we are going to create a library management system in which we will put some books, we will take some books and such kind of methods. So I'll explain one by one when something new is going to be created within the project, but for most of the time I'll be skipping or fast forwarding the steps that I expect you guys to know. So I'm not going to explain some baby steps like how does a for loop works, but because I'm expecting you guys to know all of those things because you are performing a project in your OOP class. So I'm expecting that you guys will know the basic concepts, but those concepts that are much new and those concepts that I think that has to be explained, I'll definitely explain to you guys. So don't get disappointed. You will find this project very amazing and very useful. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, as usual, we have to start with the header files. Alright, so first thing first that we are going to do in this project is to create a library. Okay, so library is supposed to act like a class. So what we will do is that we will create a class by the name of library. Okay, so we have a class by the name of library. Okay, within our class, we will have some useful member variables that are going to be the attributes of each and every book. So first of all, we will write them in the private section. We already know that by default it is private, but I explicitly write the keyword private just uh, for being sure that which section is which. Okay, so the first thing that we need is the string, and we will write the title of the book. Okay, so the first thing is title, then we will write string. We will write ISBN. Okay, this is ISBN number. Then we will write the string and the author name, and we will write the integer, and we will write the copies of the book. Okay, so far what we have done, we have created attributes of our book. So one is the name of book, name, and this is the author name, sorry, this is the ISBN ID, and here it is the author name, and here quantity. Okay, so quantities. Now let's start and have a way to access these private members. Okay, so we will have a public constructor. Okay, so the constructor purpose will be to initialize these entities with some values. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to have a constructor, empty constructor. Why empty constructor? Because we will have two uses. Okay, I'll explain it to you in the main function, but we may need the empty constructor as well as we will have parameterized constructor. So if someone is passing the parameters within the object, then this constructor will be called the parameterized constructor. And if someone is creating an object such that they are not passing the parameters within the object declared, so that will be then this empty constructor will be called. Okay, so far so good. So now we will just quickly put all of these things and assign the values to this by the received parameters. Okay, so I'll fast forward this code. Let's go. All right, so we have here a parameterized constructor in which we are receiving parameters such as title, ISBN, author, and copies. And here we are assigning all of those values, all of those parameters with their respective member variables. So this is one way to assign values to these member variables. Another way is going to be our designing function, which is coming up next. Okay, let's go and design that function. All right, so we have a take input member function. The purpose of this function is going to take input from the user and store it with the respective members of the each object created. So for example, when we create an object of book, so with book we will call this function. With this member function, with the help of this member function, we will assign values to the attributes of a that specific book. Okay, so this function is going to be used to take input from the user, and this constructor will be called also to take input. So it's upon you if you want to pass arguments within the object or if you want to call this a function. So you guys have got both the concepts covered in this program. Okay, one more thing, you can have the set method as well, but that would be something like lengthy process. But this is kind of like set method. All of the set have been just put together within this take input function. Okay, so you can just assume this add like that. Now we would like to print all of the data whenever it is required. Okay, so I'll just make another function to print out data. So let's go. All right, so here I have the output function. This is the print function which will be used to print the attributes of each object. So here I'm just printing the message output, and I have cout, book name, and all of the names of the member variables. So until now we have designed a constructor, a parameterized constructor, and also a member function that will make us able to get input from the user and store it within our member variables. After that, we have designed our output function as well. Now, as you guys know that in library there must be the total book counts as well, so that a librarian has the record of how many total books are available in the library. So for that purpose we will be using static variable. Now what's the reason behind using static variable? As we discussed in our previous tutorials, that static variables are such kind of variables that are shared by all the instances, and here the instances will be our books in the libraries. So we want such variable that will be shared by every book. So if one book gets sold, then the result should be affected, and if one book is added back, then the result should be affected as well. So for that purpose we are going to use the static variable. So we will write here total books. We will just declare it. Okay, so how do we define our or initialized our static variable? So first of all we will write the data type, then after that we will write the name of the class. So when we write the name of the class, we cannot directly access the member variable. So for that purpose what we are going to use a scope resolution operator. So with the help of scope resolution operator we get our data into our scope. Okay, so now as you guys can see that there are multiple options, and we will select the total books and we will consider it equals to 0. Now here what we are going to do, that we will add some kind of code here as well, that whenever we are taking input from the user, that input taking the copies, so what we will do, we will update our total books, we will update our total books with what, with our number of copies. So as new books are added, the total number of books must be increased. Okay, and we will do the same thing here as well within our constructor as well. So here we will also write total plus equals to the copies itself. All right, so this was the use of a static variable to keep the record of all the books available in our library. Now let's design a function outside our class, a simple function that will be used for the searching of book within our list of books. So for example, I will write a boolean return type. So if the book title is found in the record, it will return true, and if it is not found, it will return false. Okay, so before purchasing any book, the librarian has to make sure that the book exists in the library. So for that purpose, we will use this function. Okay, so this is not a member function, this is just a simple function. Okay, so here we will write a search book. So search book is the function here that we are going to use. Within the function, what we will do, that we will take input from the user as the title. Okay, what we will do, we will take a input from the user as the title. So here we have enter the book name. Okay, and we will write a string title, and we will write a C in title. Okay, so with the help of this, we will get the title of the book. Now what we are going to do, we are going to write the for loop. So for loop integer I is equals to 0, I is less than, we will decide this size later on, and we will have I plus plus. Okay, now within the loop, what we are going to do, we are going to find out. So first of all, we will receive our class as an argument. So we will write class, not class, sorry, we will write the name of our class, that is the library. We will write the library, and we will create a temporary library array. Okay, why array? Because we are going to receive the array. Okay, and what's next? Next is going to be the integer size of our array. So here we will write the size. Okay, and here what we are going to do, we are going to write a temp dot I dot. Now what do we need? We cannot access the title directly. So you guys know that what we are going to do, we are going to use a getter. So a getter is such kind of function that will allow us to access these private values. It is also known as accessor as well. So we will design a simple getter where it will return a string data type, and we will write get title. Okay, and here we will return the title. All right, so what we will do in our function, so as you guys can see that we have got the get title. Now we will match this get title with our this input title from the user. Okay, so here we have this. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to put this within our if condition. If temporary I dot get title is equals to title, this means that temporary, wherever whichever book I am talking about, in which iteration I am in, so call this getter for that object. When you call the getter for that object, what will happen, that it will return the title of the book. Now if any object title matches this title, what we will do, we will do that return true, and we will break out of the loop. Okay, so we will return the true and we will break out of the loop. Else if it doesn't happen, let's say if it doesn't happen, then what we will do? What we will do, we will return the false. Okay, so you got my point, and I hope you got the concept of this function as well. I'll repeat one time again that we have this function designed such that it will receive the arrays of the object, because we are going to have multiple objects, not just one or two books. We might have hundreds of books. So for that purpose, we are going to use the arrays of class. Now we will pass that array as the parameter, so it will be received here as the first pointer. Now with which we will also receive the size of the array. On the basis of the size of the array, we will apply our for loop, and also we will take input from the user that which book they want to find in the array. So according to this if condition that is written here, that if temp I dot get title, what does it mean? It means that we will be iterating over all the objects, means all the books here, and we will be calling this get title getter. With the help of get title getter, what we will get, it is returning a string. So what is a string? String is going to be actually the title. So if any book's title matches with the title input by the user, it will return true. If it is not a situation, it will return false. So this is the basic logic behind this function. Now here are two more things that we need to have here. Okay, so if let's say if the book is found, now there are two things that is going to happen. Either someone will purchase the book, or either someone will return the book. Okay, so let's design a purchase function, member function. So we will write it as purchase. So in purchase we will receive the quantity. No, we will not receive, because it's much cleaner to take input within the function. Okay, so we will write it enter the quantity. Okay, now what we will do, we will first of all, if the quantity is greater than or equals to the copies available. What does this function condition mean? This means that it will check first of all, let's say the user enters 10 quantities and we have actually 5 copies only available. Okay, so what will happen, it will let the user know that you cannot make a purchase because we have insufficient number of books here. Okay, so we will write if quantity is greater than or equals to copies, so what we will do, we will make a purchase. Okay, so in order to make a purchase, first of all let's have some integer values. So integer quantity. Okay, so now if quantity is greater than or equals to copies, then what we will do, we will copies is equals to copies minus quantity. Okay, and this will update our number of books for that object, and also we have to make sure that we update our total number of books. So total books will be equals to, so instead of that notation I'll write this, it is much cleaner, and we will write the same syntax over here as well. Alright, so we have designed a function for purchasing book. Else if the quantity is less, what we will do, that else we will write not enough stock. Okay, so we have not enough stock, and we will write endl. Alright, so far so good. Okay, and here we will write a purchase successful as well. So see out purchase successful. Okay, and endl. Alright, so we have a purchase function in which we are going to take the quantity the user wants to purchase, and if we have available that quantity, we will make sure that the purchase take place. Now what will happen if the user returns the book? So let's go and let's talk about when the user is going to return the book. So we will design a member function as void return book. Okay, so we have return book. Now the first thing that is going to happen is that first of all we will search whether that book exists or not. So it will be happening in our main function. We do not have to worry about that here. The thing that what we are going to do is that we will be using a return for the restock as well. So let's say we are restocking. So what we will do, that we will increase the number of copies and increase the total number of books. Okay, so we will write integer quantity here as well, and we will write cout enter the number of books to be added or return. Okay, so this is what we have here, and we will take input from user and store it within quantity variable. All right, so we have a quantity, and then what we will do, we will copies plus equals to quantity. So it will increment it by the quantity, and as well as we will have the total number of books incremented by the quantity as well. Okay, so make sure that you are decrementing the total number of books and incrementing total number of books both at the same time. Okay, so you have to make sure that you keep the record very well. So we can use this return book whenever someone returns the book, and we can use this purchase whenever someone is making the purchase. Okay, we can add more and more functionality to this program, and we can make it more advanced, more complex in the future. But for now, I guess these are enough concepts and these are enough methods to practice out our concepts. Now let's move on to our main function and design our main function and the main menu, that how we are going to deal with this program. Let's go.